Welcome back to Right on the Money, providing you and your family the necessary information you need to make informed financial decisions. Now, you've been with us for all these segments. Our guest today, Pat Ginefra, founder of MyLifeBroker.com, located again in beautiful Newark, Delaware. Now, we've been talking about your practice. We've been talking about the course that you teach, Simplify Your Retirement, which is a wonderful course. If you're out there watching and if you have questions or want to plan your retirement, that's the course you need to be taking. And I want to talk about you, Pat, and your practice in a little more specifics. I want to talk to you about working with MyLifeBroker.com. So let's pretend that I'm a client. How does the process start? So I sign up, I go to a Simplify Your Retirement course. How do we start working together? I'm serious, I want to work now.
Well, again, we want to empower you through education. So the first thing we're going to do is get the educational piece done. That's really going to aid the client and the retiree in terms of actually understanding what they need to do and having that plan in place, right? Then, if you want to meet with us in our office, what we're going to do really the first time is just to get to know each other type of approach, right? We need to understand what your vision is of retirement, what your goals are, et cetera. And it's just kind of a get to know you meeting where we understand and we kind of define some of those parameters.
Now, it would be, I would imagine that, like you just said, so I've taken the course, so we're on the same page. Now, I actually as a pre-retiree or retiree, I have the knowledge now to really understand exactly what I need for myself, right?
Well, you do, and it's kind of generic at that point. The purpose of that meeting would be to take that education and then fit it to your personal situation.
Gotcha.
And that's where it kind of gains some traction. And then the second time we get together, if the client chooses to come back a second time, we're just going to brainstorm off of some of the things that we discussed in the first meeting. We're going to show some of the tools that are available to them. And then, subsequently we may, in that third meeting, for example, come in with a strategy, a specific strategy to meet their needs. And we'll discuss that with them. And then from that point, if they want, we can look at implementing that plan for them. And then, of course, the real work starts when you maintain and meet with your client in a long-term relationship.
So you mentioned, one of the things that you mentioned is that you, in the last segment, you work with your son.
Correct.
And he runs the investment side of the practice.
Yeah, he's an IAR, Independent Advisor Representative. And he, deals with the portfolio side of the house. We have two companies. So we have MyLifeBroker.com, which is an insurance-based agency where we do things like life insurance and annuities and estate planning out of there. And then we also have a division called My Life Wealth Management. And that's where Marco really oversees that activity.
And that's something that you had mentioned before with the three-bucket approach, that you have access to all these different tools.
Sure, and that's important, because today, it almost seems the way the world is today. Everyone's set up in two camps, right? So we tend to seek information out that already confirms what we think we already know.
Confirmation bias?
It's confirmation bias, exactly. So, if I watch a certain news channel, I'm going to tend to believe in those things and keep watching that same news channel, right? But, when in fact we need to be getting out of that comfort zone and finding out maybe the alternative point of view. So we really believe that you need to do a little mix of everything, right, in retirement. Maybe you have some guaranteed income, maybe there's already a pension there. We think Social Security is a very, very important ladder. It's often overlooked. There's a lot of fear there with Social Security.
Oh, there sure is.
But, I personally think it's some of the best money that money can buy. I mean, think about it. It's adjusted for inflation, right? It's guaranteed by the government, and it's lifetime income that you never run out of. So in that income bucket, if you will, you have to decide, do you want guarantees there, or maybe do you want to continue to take on some risk for the chance of getting increasing income? It's basically, again, that mission-based approach.
That's the beauty of working with your practice, is that you've got both sides of that coin to work with that individual client and fit in where it needs to fit in.
Correct. Yeah, we're really going to use the right tool. As fiduciaries, we're going to look at working in that client's best interest, putting our foot forward and really giving them the tools that they need to be successful.
Now, if somebody wants to come and see you, because after they see this video series, they're going to want to come and work with you, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Sure. Well, the best way to reach out would just be to call us, or you can call us at our main office number, or you can visit our website, mylifebroker.com. There's a lot of useful information on there, and there's also some contact information that you can fill out.
Now that is a perfect segue, I have to say. So on your website, this is exactly why you want to go out to the website, mylifebroker.com, is that you offer this fantastic guide that is perfect, and it is 10 steps to a successful retirement. And what I love is, Pat, you mentioned that you have a commitment to education, and I love that this is a free resource that you can get just by going out to mylifebroker.com. You want to get a copy of this. There's 10 things in here that people should be looking out for. And I see that guaranteed income, and you'd mentioned it here, that guaranteed income is something that's talked about as one of the topics. That's pretty doggone important, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it can be, again, depending on your risk tolerance and your asset base, right? So the more money you have, maybe the more risk you can actually take on. But, if you think about it, and I often tell my clients this, who are the most, who are the happiest retirees that you know? They're generally people with large pensions, right?
Yeah.
So, college professors, teachers, right?
Sure.
Retired military, federal government workers, they all have huge pensions. So they don't have the problems that people have that are managing assets. They get a check in the mail, they spend it, the next month they get another check, right? So it's kind of an automatic pilot. There's a degree of predictability, and with that is a degree of confidence in their spending. People that have assets, okay, and we deal with large, net worth clients, they are nervous today, right? Because interest rates are low. You've got market volatility, the China trade wars, all these variables that are out there, and they need to navigate through that in order to have that peace of mind. So there's something to be said for guaranteed income, I think.
Yeah. So you mentioned this earlier in one of the segments, being able to have that confidence in retirement is so very important.
It's all about spending with confidence, because if you don't have that confidence, you're going to pull back on your spending. And you don't want to be living that just in case retirement, where you're pulling back. And, one of the big laments in retirement is, I'm on a fixed income, right? You hear that often from people. And it simply means they don't have a plan for increasing income. That's one of the main reasons that you want to plan, is because your income at some point due to inflation will start to head south. Yeah. I mean, even at 3% a year, 10 years from now, you've got a 30% reduction in your spending power, because your spending power is diminished due to inflation. So what would happen if inflation was higher than that? We don't really know where inflation's at, right?
Yep.
But we certainly know it exists out there in everything that we use today. Healthcare, fuel, food. The things we don't need tend to be deflationary, right?
That's right.
Big screen TVs and things like that. So you have to have a plan to have increasing income, because if you don't, you're going to end up living that just-in-case retirement that we're trying to avoid.
That's our time for today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Dennis. It's been a pleasure, and I really enjoy it. I always appreciate my trip out here, because there's some great people that support our effort.
We love having you out here in the heartland of the United States. So that's our time for today. Now, don't forget, you can watch full Right on the Money episodes on our official YouTube channel or at rightonthemoneyshow.com, where you can get up-to-date financial news and insights from the top insurance and financial professionals in your area. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.